Today is issue 21 of the Ships of War collection. I managed to get this yesterday and I managed to read it about 5 seconds ago and record it now. So anyway, HMS Howe, the last of the King George V class battleships to be constructed by the British Navy. Here she is, nice camouflage on her. Some of the guns are bent out of place, you can see, but I can bend them back. Also the gun battery at the back seems to have a slight problem, as well as they put the flag in the ensign in the wrong place. But anyway, let's take a look at the model, shall we? So yeah, oh, the walrus plane's a bit dodgy, you know, but she has a nice camouflage to her. Basically, yeah, same as any other King George V class battleship. You know, you got the 8 guns in total, primaries, 14-inch guns, and you've got the secondaries on her side. She was made post Prince of Wales, as I like to call it, post Prince of Wales, having that the Prince of Wales was sunk by Japanese aircraft in 1941. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was when Japan entered the war. And so what happened was that all the ships had to be wary of the air supremacy of, you know, air power, etc., etc. So yeah, that's a ship overall. She's actually, some parts are bad, but some parts are good to her. Did a good model of her. And here is the, obviously they have a problem with the goddamn ensign. Anyway, 1942, post Prince of Wales. So now here we got a nice picture of HMS Howe. And so yeah, here's another picture of HMS Howe, an actual photograph, not a painting. This was her just after being built, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh well. So anyway, this talks about how she was launched and everything. And she was supposed to be called Admiral Beatty, which is actually quite odd because at my Sea Cadet unit, we've got like a Daily Mail or Mirror saying they did a list of ships, all the British warships. And what's odd is that I was looking at some of them and I was like, hang on a sec, Beatty. I was like, that looks like a King George V class battleship. And I was like, why is it called Beatty? And obviously I found out in this that it was supposed to be, HMS Howe was supposed to be called Beatty, who led the British at the Battle of Jutland and basically messed up big time, which is why they didn't call her Beatty. But anyway, this talks about being outfitted and everything and how the crew had to train all the time, They said it wasn't a matter of building a ship, firing the guns a couple of times and go hunt the enemy. You had to sort of, you know, train, abandon ship, everything, do maneuvers like that. So anyway, this was her in August 1942, just after she was made, you know, and she had all the everything fitted to her, you know. But yes, this, as I said, she was post Prince of Wales, so she was equipped with more radar. King George V had 3 radar, whilst Howe had 14. That's 11 more radar equipment than King George V. They were that wary of planes attacking that they were just so scared. Pretend like I'd be scared. Planes are the most annoying thing ever in World of Warships. Anyway, here are the Royal Marines on one of her quadruple-barreled 14-inch guns, with the tampions being put in place. HMS has had the best tampions. She had her ensign on them, really cool. And here is a naval ensign, right next to a goddamn anti-air gun, which is kind of odd. And here's a down completed everything, you know. Let's see what she looks like in comparison. She looks similar, the model. Exactly 100%. Oh, the sun's gone out. But yeah. And here's a walrus float plane that they had. They always had a walrus float plane, as you can see. There. So yeah. And here's just a random engineer in the engineer officer who's down. Yeah. Doing the controls of, you can see one of those things that you see, a full speed smoke, speed, slow down, make smoke, etc., etc. And this is about the fact file specifications of her. So it talks about her being, she was slightly longer than Prince of Wales. She was slightly faster. She was capable of traveling at 28 knots, whilst Prince of Wales was just over 27 knots. But yeah, as it says here, It says here somewhere. Just give me a sec. Secondary armament, blah 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 blah. Improved anti-aircraft capability. Yep, and yeah, as a level of threat posed by torpedo and dive bombers steadily grew, so the number of close-range AA weapons fitted to the battleship was increased. Post Prince of Wales, as I said. And actually, this is actually a fun fact. In 2012, it was reported that parts of her gun turret, which is one of those, was mounted on a turntable in a nuclear factory, in the nuclear laboratory, which is rather interesting. But yes, obviously, she was upgraded more. She had more secondaries. She had the same main secondaries as Prince of Wales does, but she had, as you notice, look, she had more guns mounted, actually. But anyway, and then eventually she did go into battle. What she did was that she worked as protection against, as the ships went from Soviet Russia to Britain to do supplies convoys. The Tirpitz, which was in the fjord, posed as a threat along with Admiral Hipper. And what happened was that she had to perform convoy protection, and they actually damaged Admiral Hipper. And this was just before German Navy collapsed. Because what happened was that, due to this, Hitler had a massive argument with Erich Raeder, the commander of the German Navy, and what happened after that was that no ships were allowed out, etc., etc., and Caledonius was put in charge. And that was really essentially the end of the Kriegsmarine. Well, really, the sinking of Tirpitz was. But after that, Hipper could never go out again. She could never go into battle. She failed her sea trials. Eventually, she sunk. And that's what happened, really. And so that was the end of the Kriegsmarine. So really, it was quite lucky. This is obviously on board King George the... Oh. This is King George the 6th. I was going to say it was on board King George the 5th. But no, I read it wrong. So that's him. Yeah. There. That's him. That's Admiral Tovey there. And that's Captain Woodrose. So yes. And Captain Tovey was, if you see Sink the Bismarck, he is the one that says we need to get in closer, finish her off. Now, he was in charge of the main navy. And this is HMS Howe, Scapa Flow. That's where all the navy is, Scapa Flow. But now it's down in Portsmouth, sorry. And here's another picture of her, and just a lot of pictures of Howe, really. Then after that, she obviously went and supported the landings of Sicily, which was the invasion of Italy, and got them out of the war. And then she went to the Far East, and she gave it a shot. Because the last time Prince of Wales went, it didn't end so well, as we all know. And so what happened was that due to this, she was used as AA. She had the AA guns remade, and she was designed to take down whatever. You see, number of close range AA weapons was also increased because of because the Japanese were nuts. They kamikazed all the time. One of them kamikaze took out an entire aircraft carrier. I believe it was HMS Yorktown. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not really sure. This is obviously a picture of HMS Howe. Nice coloured pictures of her. Very nice. In the Suez Canal. She apparently kept on grounding herself and they had to unground her, but she didn't take any damage. And after that, she was dry docked right at the end of when Japan surrendered. And actually, the Americans and the British argued about who would go to fight the Japanese Navy. The Americans wanted total naval supremacy, and so did the British. So really, it was quite odd, really. And so yeah, and eventually what happened was that, she got taken home to Portsmouth, where she became a training ship. And then her and her three sisters, King George V, and I think it was Duke of York, might be in Anson, they were taken up north and they were eventually scrapped. They were put on the list in 1957, and then eventually she was scrapped on the 2nd of June 1958. And this is the picture of her coming home from Asia right after the end of the war, when Japan had surrendered. This is South America, Cape Town, here being with a a destroyer. Yes, because all battleships had to have a destroyer escort, and that's the last picture of her. Well, painted. Next issue, Jean Bart. Yes, Jean Bart. Jean Bart was a ship that I do not know. Sorry, my hand's shaking. It does that. A ship I do not know, and I don't know what the hell happened to her. What happened was that basically we stabbed France in the back and we attacked Dunkirk with HMS Howe and bloody sunk her with swordfish, etc., etc. And stuff just happened. I forgot really what happened. But yes. And basically she did nothing, Jean Bart, until the 50s. And that was the end of her. And then she was scrapped. So anyway, that's that for this issue. So yes, I'm quite annoyed still that they still aren't doing ships which are not important. Not saying that HMS Howe isn't important, but I never heard of Jean Bart in my entire life, truthfully. And so anyway, I really want goddamn Skarnhorse or Eisenhower or Prince Eugen so I can finally finish the Battle for Bismarck collection, but nope, can't have that. Instead I gotta have these stupid other ships which I never heard of, like Littorio. But actually she's quite interesting, so yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Yes, I got it up early, haha. Yes, and I know I had a slight problem with yesterday's video. It was a bit of a pain in the ear. I know what you're all thinking. What the hell was he doing making that? Basically, a long time ago, I'm in an audio series, and what happened was that I was like, maybe we could do a collab, and he was like, okay, I'll write you a script. I was like, well, and then basically I do a collab with him, and so yeah, so that, you know, so that's, you know, so just there's some parts of my channel you just gotta ignore. Just ignore them. Just ignore. Imagine it like a sandwich, a ham and cheese sandwich. If you don't like the cheese, just ignore it and take it off. Or if you don't like the ham, ignore it, take it off. You know, that's what it's like with my channel, you know. Because 60% are people that want the certain type of videos, and 40% are people that want Navy videos, and that's just like problem. It's a big problem. Because I split the channel, unfortunately, because I was too stupid to stick with one thing, and now I've got myself a problem. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I always keep it to my personality. Peace out, my homies.